Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Holler Board Games. We are back from the dead. Joanna has a voice again.
I can talk. It's lovely.
We went AWOL for a little while. Life got crazy, but we are back now, and we are going to be doing our 2024 Game of the Year Awards. The way that we're going to be doing this is probably a little bit different. I feel like board games are different than movies or video games or anything like that, and that you can't just sit down with it and play it and be like, yes, this is the one that I like.
And you're definitely not going to play something the minute that it comes out every single time.
Right, every single time. And so what we're going to do for our Game of the Year is we're going to do, for 2024 Game of the Years, it will be all of the games that we have gotten and played in 2023 and 2024.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, in both years. That way, because like there's some games like right now I have Everdell Duo, for example. I just got it in the mail this week. I love Everdell. I'm excited to play Everdell Duo. I may not even get to this year, and if I did, it would only be a couple of times, and I'm not going to have enough to judge it. So it's not fair to it to kick it out.
Kick it out of any potential
to kick it out, right?
Honor.
And there are other situations like Cthulhu Death May Die, Fear of the Unknown. I have that backed. I should be getting it. It's listed on Board Game Geek as being a 2024 game. I probably won't even get it until 2025.
Right.
So I feel like you have to include both of those years just to make it fair, and so that you can play the games enough to get a good
grasp on whether you like them or not.
Right.
So don't scrutinize our lists based on dates.
Yes, it's 2023.
These are our 2024 games.
Correct.
Dang it.
2023 and 2024. Next year will be 2024 and 2025. And once again, this is not every game that's released in those years. We haven't played every game that's released in those years. What I did was I compiled a big list of all of the games that we obtained in 2023 and 2024. Then I went through them. We picked the ones that we liked. I got a bunch of categories. So we're going to have like best campaign game, best dungeon crawler, lots of different things. I put it all together. I tried to narrow the categories to 5 or 6 in each one.
And how much fun did you have?
A lot. I had a lot of fun. I won't lie. And so I tried to narrow those down. So we're going to have 5 or 6 in each category. And we're just going to go through. I'm going to have a winner. She's going to have a winner. We don't know what each other's winners are. And then at the very end, we're going to give our overall Game of the Year winner. This is the one. This is our Game of the Year.
Yep.
So all of that said, guys, if you like this stuff, please like and subscribe below. It helps us out here on the channel. Yep. And we're going to get started. And the first category is Best Campaign Game. If you see me looking off over here, it's because I've got them on her phone.
That's where the list is.
Technology has not been my friend today, so we're doing it over here. So it's going to be Best Campaign Game. The nominees for Best Campaign Game are Seventh Citadel, Tidal Blades 2, Mass Effect, Priority Hagalaz, Resident Evil, the board game, Isofarian Guard, and Mythwind. And I'm going to make you go first on what your winner is.
Okay. So my winner for Best Campaign Game was Mass Effect.
Okay.
And the reason that I chose Mass Effect is because Mass Effect is your favorite video game.
Yes.
And one of my favorite video games. And I really enjoyed revisiting the Mass Effect universe in that board game. And I also really liked that it was a very manageable campaign.
Yeah, it was like 5 sessions, you're done, you're in, you're out.
Yes,
I like that a lot
but
too.
it did a fantastic job of introducing the characters. Somebody who had never been introduced to the Mass Effect universe before, I feel like could play that campaign game and get a good idea of the characters, of their personality, of the story in general. So I feel like it was a great representation. It was manageable, and it was a universe that I really enjoyed.
Right. And for those of you that don't know, campaign games, we're considering it's a game where each session leads into the next session.
Yes.
Sometimes you'll earn skill ups in between them. Sometimes it's just story based. But as a general rule, it tells you kind of a story as it goes along and it evolves. That's what we're counting as a campaign game. It was a really tough call for me.
It was tough for me too.
My Game of the Year for campaign was Tidal Blades 2.
Ah, that was my runner-up. I figured you would pick that one.
So I love Mass Effect. I do. I've always loved Mass Effect. I feel like Tidal Blades, though, is just so unique with the card grid and the way that you play it, and it's bright and it's shiny and even though it's a longer campaign, I don't feel like it's not difficult.
It's not difficult at all.
I can jump back into it. It's something that I feel like is actually finishable in a relatively short amount of time.
Yep.
And it's just fun. It's bright. I like the way my character plays. I like the story that it gives us. I like the foreteller narration on it.
Yep.
That helps a whole lot.
It does.
I'm a huge fan of Tidal Blades 2. It's actually going to make our 10x10 this year. Spoiler, we'll do a 10x10 video soon. But yeah, so Tidal Blades 2 is my winner for that category.
I can see that. That was my runner-up.
The second category is going to be Best Dungeon Crawler.
I really wish that we had like some nice Emmys transition music.
And the nominees for Best Dungeon Crawler are Gloomhaven, Buttons and Bugs, Tidal Blades 2, Mass Effect, Marvel Zombies, and Resident Evil. So a lot of crossovers between campaigns and dungeon crawlers, but even though they're campaign games, they're also dungeon crawlers. So they count for both categories. You want me to go first for this one, or you want to?
Yes, you go first.
Okay, I will go first for this one. My game of the year for Best Dungeon Crawler is Marvel Zombies Zombicide.
Ah, it's a tie.
You did Marvel Zombies?
I did, yep.
So I'm a huge Zombicide fan, as everybody probably knows by this point. I love the Marvel universe in that. I think it's the best implemented version of Zombicide. I love the zombie heroes. I love the regular heroes. I love how you can switch between the two. I love, obviously, the giant Galactus that we have that you can play with. We've played this one a ton, and I'm a huge fan of Marvel Zombicide. I think Zombicide is a near perfect dungeon crawler. You can sit down, you can play it, generally explain it to anybody in any short amount of time. You can.
It's very accessible.
It's very fun.
It's super fun.
Yeah.
There's minis everywhere.
Right.
Yeah.
I kind of suspected that we might have a little bit of a crossover on that one. On a couple of these, I suspected we might have crossovers.
I think we might too.
But yes, that is both of our game of the year for Best Dungeon Crawler is Marvel Zombies. Next up on the list is Most Fun. And these were games that I just feel like they're fun. Like we've talked about them after we've played them. They don't take themselves seriously. Yeah. It's just like you sit down and you're just like, man, I had fun with that. They're not stressful. So our nominees for Most Fun Game is Freelancers, Bardwood Grove, Botany, Flock Together, Rock Hard, and Mythwind. I should say Rock Hard 1977, I think is the full title.
Something like that.
Yeah, Rock Hard 1977. And those are our nominees for Most Fun. So I'm going to make you go first on this one. What's your winner for Most Fun?
Freelancers.
Same.
Really?
Same on that.
Okay, well, I'll say why. So the reason that I liked Freelancers, we have a tendency to play this. There's several games like Freelancers, and I don't know what to
Forgotten
call
Waters
them.
is the pirate one.
Yes,
Wandering
but it's by
Galaxy
the same.
we haven't played yet.
Yeah, by the same company.
They're all plaid hat.
And, yeah, and they kind of follow the same format. And we have a tendency to play these with some close friends.
Yes.
And it's just really fun.
Yeah, we
Freelancers.
Sit down, we like order pizza. We get drinks, and we just play it. You're able to laugh at everybody's decisions and their characters. And it's just.
And I feel like the characters are really, particularly in Freelancers, like there's a lot of wit. There's a lot of kind of like inside humor. Yeah. And like the narration that's on the app is really good.
Right. And it's one of those things too where everyone has a different job and the characters are different and everyone has their own little different story that they're going through. And so you get to watch all of those other characters evolve. And it's, I don't know, it's very lighthearted.
It is very lighthearted.
It's one of the only board games that makes me frequently laugh out loud.
Oh, 100%.
We've just been dying laughing playing this game.
100%. One of my favorite moments in that game was my little character was a little medic of some sort. And at one point the app she said, "How can I help you not die?" And that's one of my favorite things anything's ever said in a board game.
And I think like one of the it's a fantasy. If you never played Freelancer, it's like a fantasy world. But I think like one of the classes was divorcee. Are you playing the divorcee?
I don't remember.
Like the story just like goes around like it's just random.
And there's a Mad Lib.
Yeah.
So the way that you level up. So you start by making this Mad Lib, and every time you level up, you use your words to tell the story of your character in the next level. The
characters have their own little levels up too. Yeah.
Yeah, it's really
just
funny.
Super fun.
Yeah.
It makes no sense. You've got little maps to manage and things to do.
It's
and
not
everybody
important.
Has a job, and it's just when you want to just like be like, we just want to play something. It does run a little long, though. I will say that sometimes I've been like, we should have broke this into 2 sessions. But
I've never noticed, honestly.
Overall, most fun. Freelancers, she and I both.
Definitely.
All right. The next category we're going to get into is Best Family Game. You wrote them down. I just looked at it. You wrote them down, so you.
I did write it. Oh, I know what it is. I just didn't. No, I feel like I have to. Okay, yeah, I'm good. Okay. I'm good.
The nominees for Best Family Game are Flock Together, Canopy Evergreen, Tidal Blades 2, Trekking the World 2nd Edition, Mythwind, and Almost Innocent. You want to go first this one? Me too.
You can go first this time. I think I went first last time.
My winner for Game of the Year for Best Family Game is Trekking the World 2nd Edition.
It's another time.
Isn't it really? I didn't think you would pick that one.
Why didn't you think I picked that one?
I don't know. I thought there were things on here that you like better. The reason why, and let me make a statement. There are things on this list that I like better than Trekking the World 2nd Edition. In fact, nearly all of these games I like better than Trekking the World completely. 2nd Edition.
Yes.
But I feel like it's a really good family game because of it's easy to explain. All of these games are easy to explain and play. But I feel like with Trekking the World, and I almost put Trekking the National Parks in here, but I feel like Trekking the World it's more relatable to everyone. It's our world. We live here.
Yes.
It's seeing things that you travel to. It's collecting, souvenirs and stuff from there. And it's traveling around the world. And I feel like that's very relatable to everyone at the table. And I feel like kids, if you want to play it with like younger kids, I don't know what the age on it is, but if you want to play it with younger kids, I feel like they're going to get that like, oh, that's a real thing that exists.
Right, exactly. They're going to get that kind of adventure.
Yeah, that kind of feel, right. Yeah. And that's why I personally picked it for Best Family Game, just because I feel like it is going to be educational to a certain extent.
Educational. I feel like it's very accessible.
Very accessible, educational.
And everything, correct me if I'm misremembering this, but I think everything's open.
Yeah, there's like cards at the top that you get a pick from when you want to go to places.
Right, but I don't think you have really much secret. So if you need to help somebody, you can help them too.
And you can get around that with pretty much any game. But yeah, I just feel like that's the one that pretty much anybody could pop on the table with their family. Even if you're talking, I think it plays up to 5. So you're talking, it's not like it's not a small number of players either. So if you want to take it to a holiday and play it with 4 of your other family, like you can get in there and play it with your other family members. Nobody's going to be like overwhelmed by it.
No, it's not a bit overwhelming. Difficult. Yeah.
And I feel like it's a really good family game overall. Yeah. Kids, extended relatives, whoever, you can just pop it down and play it, and it's easy to understand and easy to go for.
I agree completely. I would say I do want to give a honorable mention in this one to Flock Together.
Yes.
Because that game is very cute.
Yes. Flock Together is chickens trying to survive the year on their own with several different cartoon stylized villains like wolves and other various nefarious
They've built their little
type deals,
chicken fort
and all that stuff.
Yeah. But they have to like venture out of the chicken fort to get things and to make sure that they're secure.
Yeah.
And it's almost like the chickens are a little family, and it's very cute. It's very relatable. Right. I think that it would pull some. It's not difficult at all. I think it would be an interesting and non-intimidating theme for somebody who may not be into board games.
Yeah, so. Yeah. Okay, the next up on our list, and this one is light in choices just because we didn't get and play a lot during that time. But the next category is Best Escape Room Theme Type Game. There's one here that's even questionable if it's an escape room type game, but I put it in here because it's by far the closest that it could count, and we really enjoyed it. But these are games that are meant to mimic escape rooms where you're solving a puzzle, you're figuring something out, somewhere along those lines. Maybe I should have called it like Best Puzzle Game or something. I don't know.
Best Mystery Game,
but we're calling it Best Escape Game.
Sounds good.
Our nominees for Best Escape Game is Medical Mysteries NYC, Dungeons and Dragons Bedlam and Neverwinter, and Dimensions Mystery Manor. And you can go first on this one with your winner.
Dimensions Mystery Manor.
That's another crossover.
Yeah, I expected that would be a crossover, honestly.
I almost picked Medical Mysteries. I
almost did too.
I really enjoyed Medical Mysteries NYC. If you guys don't know what that one is, you can find Medical Mysteries NYC on any shelf in Walmart, Target. I think I bought it off Amazon for $7. Like it's not a super expensive game. It's not hard to get into, and it's very interesting trying to solve those medical mysteries. And it's only like 5 cases that get progressively tougher as you go along, and it's really fun to solve those. And I really liked it. But at the end of the day, I feel like the Dimensions, the Mystery Manor, just the presentation of it, the way you actually got to look through the manor. It opened like a pop-out
It
book.
opens like a pop-out book.
Yeah, and you have your own little stuff that you get to keep. And everything. It was just so in-depth and so fun. And one of those things, sometimes it did frustrate me. There were parts of it that frustrated me. A lot of escape games frustrate me sometimes.
Yeah, most escape games, even escape rooms, there's going to be points where you're going to be like, this is dumb. But yeah,
it's one
overall,
of those
I am a sucker for any game that pops up and folds out.
Yeah, I am too. Anything that like has a really good presentation like that. Bedlam and Neverwinter, I liked it being D&D themed because fantasy is my favorite genre and everything. I just thought it was really easy.
It was really
very, very, very simple.
I don't think we missed anything.
And that may actually be a good one. I might should have put that one in the best family category because if you have kids or younger people or whatever, that's I feel like a really good introduction into that D&D universe for them. But overall, I feel like Dimensions took the cake. By a lot.
Bouncing back to the medical mysteries one, I'm in medical field, if you don't know, but I'm curious how that would play.
Yeah, I think I might have enjoyed it more if I wouldn't have played it with you, if I'm being honest.
Probably.
Because there were times when it was like blah, 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 and I didn't even have to look at like the code. Like it gives you like a book of like tests you can order or things like that, and like you look at the test and you like read a code and you open it up and you read the results of that, and she's just like, oh, we'll run this test and this test, and I'm just like, all right,
made me feel smart though.
Cool. And those were always the right tests to run, and I'm just there, like, okay, good.
Though I did do bad on the one.
There was one we kind of struggled on a little bit. I don't even think it was the hardest one. I think it was one of the random ones in the middle, but
it was the second hardest one.
Yeah. But either way, that was super fun. All these games, we like all of them. There's not a game on our list that we don't like. Let me say that.
We wouldn't put on the list.
So that's best escape game, Dimensions Mystery Manor. And next up on the list, we have best strategy game. And this is a tough category.
I struggled with this one too. I struggled with this one too.
Yeah,
I did. I
was hesitant to call these Euro games, but I mean that's essentially what the list is. But basically, these are the games that were classified under the strategy type on Board Game Geek. That's the way that I picked them. And so our nominees for best strategy game of the year is Bardwood Grove, Sky Team, Undergrove, Rock Hard 1977. Unconscious Mind, Earth, and Septima. You want to go first? Or you want me to go first?
I'll go first.
Okay.
You'll probably know my winner. My winner, you want to guess it?
Is it Sky Team?
No.
Oh, okay.
It's not.
Go, I'll roll on.
Unconscious Mind.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. What's yours?
Sky Team.
Okay.
Sky Team is mine. Yeah. Talk about Unconscious Mind a little.
So, Unconscious Mind, you were playing as a psychologist from the 1920s. I was struggling with the time period.
I don't remember the years either.
Early 1900s, I think. When did Freud do his thing? Late 1800s. I don't know. Anyway, I got to play as young, which is exciting. And what you're trying to do is you have these patients, and they're mostly famous people that you are historical figures, and you can look them up, and they're actually patients of these doctors. And you're trying to treat them by, they have dreams and they have underlying grief layers, or maybe they have grief layers on top of their dreams, and there's an overlying dream.
Use the dreams to remove the grief
layers. That's right. So they've got
terminologies. There's so much. The terminology is everywhere.
Like you got a picture that's a dream, and then another card on top of that that's another dream, and then a person with a.
The dream cards are beautiful.
They're gorgeous.
The presentation is amazing.
They're gorgeous. I mean, these are probably the prettiest cards. I would say this is probably the prettiest game we have.
One of them, for sure.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Yeah,
and the dream cards are just like. They're out there, but they're really pretty.
Ones, so
that's right. We've got the upgraded whatever. So, anyway, you're trying to treat these patients by getting rid of these dreams, and you've got to generate these different elements, and you have to drink coffee, and there's a grid where you can collect things to build your grid. And
there's a ton going on.
You've got an engine that you're building. There's a ton going on.
It's nearly every Euro mechanic that you can imagine, all slapped into one.
Yes. And it's super complicated, but it's beautiful. And I love the theming.
Yeah.
So
that's why
it was my favorite.
My favorite thing about Unconscious Mind is most of the time when I play a Euro or a strategy game, I have like a clear strategy. Like this is how I'm going to tackle this game.
Right.
And sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't work. Unconscious Mind is probably the most fun that I've ever had playing a strategy game. And it's because I didn't care. Like, just to me, like I did one run where all of my patients I wanted to pick were just the craziest ones that I could find. Like I just wanted to pick the toughest, craziest patients. I did another run where I just wanted to do publishing things. I just wanted to publish treatises. That was my whole goal.
That was my goal. The last time we played, I wanted to publish everything in the game that Young actually published.
Right. And even aside from doing those, from just taking random things, like when I picked the craziest patients, I was like, oh, I'm going to lose by a ton. And I didn't. I didn't lose by a ton. It does a really good job of keeping everything close together.
Yeah.
And I really, really, really like Unconscious. It was an incredibly tough category for me.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yes. And Sky Team was my runner-up, of course.
Yeah. The reason...
I'm not sure that Sky Team, though, is really... That's the one that it's definitely not a Euro.
I mean,
maybe it is.
It's got dice. I don't know. It's a strategy game. There's a lot of different categorizations for things and categories.
Yeah, I wouldn't know how to categorize.
I just picked the strategy games. If it said strategy, it went in the strategy games list.
Sounds
so that's
good.
where we went with it at. The reason why I picked Sky Team is just because I've had a ton of fun playing Sky Team. I think it's easy to set up. I think it's easy to play. It's not something I won't forget it. It's something that I can sit down and that I can play quickly. I can play easily. It's something that I'll always remember the rules to. And it's something that I think that I'm personally, I want more of it. There's an expansion coming out for it, which I fully plan to get. I think we only have like 3 missions left in the base box of Sky Team or something.
Which is saying a lot because we have not 100% of very many games at all.
Yeah, as far as like these are the missions that you have, like we're about to finish Sky Team completely. And I don't know, I like the way you can take it with you. I like the way it's versatile. Its only downside is that it's only 2 players.
Yeah.
That's its only downside, but I think it's really unique with the dice mechanics and maneuvering the plane and all that stuff. And I've had a ton of fun playing Sky Team. And it was one of those things where we'd be sitting there after dinner and we'd be like, well, you want to go downstairs and crash some planes? And we'd be like, yeah, let's go crash some planes. And that's what it comes down to. So that's why Sky Team made my best strategy game.
Agreed.
Next up is the best nature game category. And this one was kind of tough too.
This was tough for me too.
But best nature game.
A lot of nature games in 2024.
Also, these categories might be different next year. I don't know. I'm making it up as I go along. We'll see what happens.
We'll do what we want.
So best nature game, the nominees are Botany, Undergrove, Parks Roll and Hike, Canopy Evergreen, Earth, and Redwood. You or me? I can't remember the order. I think you went. I went first last time, and I tried to guess. Okay, yeah. So my winner for best nature game is Earth.
That was me too.
I love Earth. This was an incredibly tough category. I like all of these games. Redwood might have been higher for me if it wasn't so finicky. Redwood is a game about photography where you're taking pictures of different animals and things, and you have little plastic cones and things that you put around the base of your player, and you use those to determine what's going to be in your shot. And I love the idea of that a lot more than I love the implementation of that.
You were really excited about that game.
I was super excited about Redwood. Earth, on the other hand, we've played Earth a lot. I've never, there's so many cards. There's so much to do with your engine building. I've never played Earth and been like, I've seen all of Earth.
No.
It is a ton of stuff that you can play just in that base box. It's really pretty. The art's really pretty.
There's little facts.
Some of it. We also have a review of Earth on the channel. I'll link that down below if I remember. I probably will. And I like the only thing that I don't like about Earth is the graphic design of like the player boards and stuff. And I forget if it was you or someone else that said they look like a
conference room
like
hotel.
a conference room hotel advertisement. Yeah, and so I don't like that. But all of the cards and everything else are beautiful. I like the way you build up your trees to get taller and taller.
Yeah.
And I like the different strategies you can go to on that. There's so many different ways to score. Like you score for this card and this card and this card and this card and this animal and this animal and this animal. And there's so many different ways that you can go. It's almost overwhelming once you play the full game. And I think I may actually like the beginner version.
We said that, that we like the beginner version a little bit better, just because it feels like it's almost too much.
Yeah, and we've played the full version a couple of times since then, and I'm kind of swaying more towards the full version. I think once we play it a couple more times, I will get
maybe there's
fully
just a
on
learning
board with
curve
the full
there.
version of the game. But I'm getting to the point where I don't feel overwhelmed with it.
Yeah.
So yeah, best nature game, Earth for both of us. Yep. Okay. Next up, we have Best Beginner Game. And the nominees for Best Beginner Game are Botany, Flock Together, Canopy Evergreen, Medical Mysteries NYC, Trekking the National Parks / World. And I should also mention on those, this is the 3rd edition of Trekking the National Parks and the 2nd edition of Trekking the World. That's why they actually made the list this year. Those are both older games, but these are the newer editions and they've changed things, so they made the list. And then the last one on that Best Beginner Games nominee list is Sky Team. And you can go first on this one. What's your best beginner game?
Canopy Evergreen.
Okay.
Yeah. So I chose Canopy Evergreen as my best beginner game. I really like this game. It has a lot. We've played a lot of nature games this year. Canopy Evergreen has some themes that are similar to Earth, but it is much less complicated.
So much simpler
It's
and beautiful.
So much simpler, and it's so pretty. And you get to build these trees, which is very satisfying, and it's exciting. So the components are really good. The nature theming is accessible to people who may not be interested in fantasy and things like that.
It's mostly set collection.
It's pretty easy to understand.
Our 10-year-old played it, no problems.
Did great. Like, I think came in second.
Yeah, I think so. I think he beat me that time.
I think he did too. Yeah, so it
I
was.
didn't say I was good at it, okay? I just said I like it.
Yeah.
But I'm not good at most board games.
But it's really fun. It's very accessible. Most things are open, so you can kind of help somebody if you need to.
Yeah.
And so I just thought it was a really good intro for somebody who's not into board games. It's very accessible. Right.
Yeah. My best beginner games is Trekking the National Parks / World.
Yeah.
And it's sort of for the same reason as I put Trekking the World in the family game.
Yes.
Once again, one of those up to 5 players. I feel like it's relatable for everyone around the table. Everybody knows of our world. Everybody knows those travel destinations. Everybody knows the national parks. And so there's something there immediately that people can grab onto. There's something that if they're like, oh, okay, well, this is we live here. This is, I can grasp this, you know. That was a really difficult one too, because there's a lot in there. I really like Botany as well. I feel like Botany does a good job. Botany is a game about Victorian flower collecting. It also doesn't take itself very seriously. It's super easy and fun. Botany was very high on that list. I almost picked Botany.
I did too.
I like Botany better than Trekking the National Parks and World. But at the end of the day, I feel like if I was going to play with somebody who had never played a board game before, I would be like, okay, here's Trekking the National Parks, Trekking the World. You'll figure this out. It'll be super simple. So that's why it was my pick for best beginner game. The next category is one that's kind of just going to be mostly my input because she doesn't play many solo games. I'm the solo gamer. And so this category is for best solo game. There's only 4 nominees in this category. It is Gloomhaven Buttons and Bugs, The Last Lighthouse, 20 Strong, and Hoplomachus Victorum.
So which one did you pick?
I picked Hoplomachus Victorum.
I expected you to say that.
I really like Hoplomachus Victorum. It is a lot. It is not an easy game. It is not a light game. It's a lot of setup. It's a lot of work. for a solo game. All of the other games are much lighter, much simple. I mean, Gloomhaven is always going to be complicated. It's Gloomhaven. But the setup and everything for Gloomhaven in this one in Buttons and Bugs is pretty simple. It's a card. You play on a card, you move your characters about. But overall, I think Hoplomachus Victorum provides the best experience in a solo game. And when you get done with Hoplomachus, you're like, I really did something. Like that was long. So Hoplomachus Victorum was my best solo game. I love chip theory. Everybody knows I'm a huge chip theory fan. And 20 Strong is also very good. I just liked Hoplo better. I think Hoplo was and weird for me because I didn't expect to like Hoplomachus Victorum as much as I did. Just because I don't really care for Hoplomachus. Yeah. It's okay. We've played it a couple times and it's fine. But it's not my preferred chip theory game. And Victorum being a solo game, I was like, well, I'll get it. I'll trade it or sell it if I don't like it. And then I played it. I played it and I was like, wow, I really like this. And then I played it a few more times and I was like, okay, this is really good. So Hoplomachus Victorum, my best solo game for the year. And in the last category, we have best adventure game. These are also kind of hard to qualify. Best adventure game, to me, that's something where you are traveling around. Yes,
traveling has to be a component to me.
Right, yeah, like you're going on an adventure overall. So those nominees are The Seventh Citadel, Botany, Witcher Old World, Freelancers, Sea of Thieves, and The Isofarian Guard.
Botany.
Botany. I fully expect you to pick Botany for that.
Botany was one of my favorite games this year. And the Botany feels like an adventure to me. Like you're going on an adventure to collect plants. You might accidentally catch bees. And there's lots of bad things that can happen to you.
And if you don't get home, you're screwed.
If you don't get home, you are screwed. And you can end up in India with no money.
Yeah. And
so that's an adventure to
just
me.
Get beaten. Like, it is clearly an adventure. You have to go out and you have to come back. It's an adventure game. That's why I put it on there. I was hesitant to put it on the adventure game list at first.
No, it's an adventure.
I was like, no, Botany is very much an adventure. It's just not a stereotypical what you think of when you think of an adventure. It's not like Lord of the Rings or anything like that, but it's very different.
Yeah. So as I was looking down through the list and like looking at different things in different categories, I was like, okay, well, I love Botany. You know, Botany is clearly going to be a winner for me. And I was like, what category is Botany the best in that category? And it was clearly adventure game to me because it feels like an adventure. It feels like a flowery adventure.
My award for best adventure game is Witcher Old World.
Oh, okay. I can see that.
I adore Witcher Old World. I'm a huge fan of it. The solo games category was for games that are only solo. Let me put that out there. They cannot be played with more than one person. Otherwise, Witcher Old World would have won. If it was just favorite solo modes, I usually don't like Witcher Old World solo mode is kind of a beat your own score mechanic. And I usually am not a huge fan of that, but I don't know. I love the mechanics and the deck building and the traveling of Witcher Old World so much that the solo hooked me in. I think I played it solo like 11 times, just trying to beat my own score. And it was one of those things where it was like, man, you know, I don't know why I'm so hooked on this, but I'm a huge Witcher mark too. Like I really like The Witcher. And so that was probably one of the reasons too. I love the feel of that game. I love that if you have some of the expansions, there are cooperative modes to it where there's the Wild Hunt that you can do. There's the Legendary Monsters expansion that you can do. There was so much to that game that I never felt like I was going to get bored playing it. If you get bored playing a Witcher, play one of the mages. You know, if you get bored with the regular game, do one of the legendary monsters. Like there was just so much going on, and it feels the events and everything. It does a really good job of capturing that universe of The Witcher, and that's one of the things that I was really looking for in that game. And this one was. I felt so strongly about this one. It was a short order for my game of the year. I'll tell you, it didn't make it, but it was very close for what I was going to pick for game of the year. So it was top 3. It was way up there. So I love Witcher Old World. Yeah. Those are all of our categories, and so now we're going to do just our overall game of the year. What is your favorite game of the year? So do you want to go first with your game of the year?
I'll go first.
Okay, what's your game of the year?
Sky Team.
Mine too.
I had a feeling.
Yeah, Sky Team is my game of the year.
It's fantastic.
Yeah, I adore Sky Team. I love everything about it. It's fun. It's easy. It's simple. We talked about it a lot earlier.
It's memorable.
So, yeah, I'm not going to dote on it here too much because we talked about it earlier.
Yeah.
It's really unique. I don't have anything else like it.
Nothing.
Big fan of Sky Team. It was honestly a pretty easy choice.
It was for me too.
As far as my game of the year goes. And it was between that, Earth, or Witcher Old World.
So it was between that and Botany for me, actually.
Okay, yeah. It was Earth. I'm kind of enamored with Earth too. I really like
Earth is
nature
great.
games, and I really like all of the mechanics of Earth. And I already doted on Witcher Old World in the adventure game category. But in the end, Sky Team just took the cake for me, and there was nothing that I enjoyed more that made more of a lasting impression on me than Sky Team.
Exactly.
There have been a lot of times when I've told people like, you need to get Sky Team.
Yeah.
Like we're buying it for Christmas gifts for people. Like we both really enjoyed Sky Team. We're not going to say who, and they might watch. If you do watch and you get Sky Team, good. You're going to
enjoy.
It's our game of the year, 2024. All right, guys. Thank you guys so much for watching. We hope you enjoyed. We've got some new content planned. We got a couple of reviews coming in the next couple of weeks. We are going to do our 10 by 10.
Yep.
If you guys don't know what that is, we pick 10 games to play at least 10 times next year for 100 total plays. We've got that lined out, so we're going to have a video of that coming soon. Guys, thank you so much for watching. Please like and subscribe below, and we hope to see you next time.
Yep. See you soon. Bye.